Hello and welcome to the Hardy Brain, the show that takes athletic, introverted entrepreneurs and leaders and transforms them into ironclad brain performers. I'm your host, Dr. David Hardy. And today on our show, we've got another amazing guest. She is a productivity expert living with narcolepsy, a kick-ass dog mom, and the #1 best-selling book author, Don't Snooze Your Dreams. Lessons from Life with Narcolepsy. Welcome to the show, Michelle Weger. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I am excellent and super excited to give some great value to this audience.
I'm stoked about this. I'm a sleeper. I love my sleep. I don't get a restful enough of it. I've even had the sleep doctor on my show. And I'm not productive if I'm groggy and haven't had my sleep. Yeah. And then I see you come out with this book on productivity, living with narcolepsy.
Yeah, not quite expected, right?
I'm blown away. And yeah, like how do you become productive when things are stacked against you?
So I think the first thing is realizing that, there's that cliche, everyone has the same 24 hours in the day. And
yeah, no, it's not the same.
No, right? So for me, because I have less available hours to be productive in, it's essentially a forcing mechanism for me to cut out the things that aren't actually helping, to avoid perfectionism, and to be very in tune with what does work and what doesn't, and be vicious in implementing those things.
Wow. Now, others are going to go, okay, well, this is probably a condition you can manage then. So you've probably got blocks of time during the day. You're like, yeah, I'm going to actually be alert during this. But walk us through from the beginning here. Like, how'd you come down with narcolepsy? Because people have so many different ideas about it. Like, oh, you're born with it. Something's going wrong. But this happened to you when you were like back in med school, wasn't it? When you needed to be productive?
So the plan was to go to med school, and narcolepsy derailed that completely. So I started to get the symptoms when I was 17. That was the age I fell asleep in public for the first time as an adult. And no, it wasn't after a night of partying or late at night. It was on a Wednesday at like 2 p.m. in a classroom during a test. Not good.
Well, I've been in like higher education. It's boring.
I mean, look, I wasn't the only one who fell asleep in statistics class.
Right.
But I would fall asleep in all kinds of inappropriate places. I know some people fall asleep on buses or trains, but it's more than that. It would be sitting on a bench waiting for my friend on a downtown street. Like, not a safe place to be asleep. But when you're that exhausted, your brain will take every chance to sleep it can. So it was very clear there was something not normal happening.
Especially during a test.
Wow. Especially a very important test. Yeah, I had to change degree programs after that because I did so badly falling asleep on that test.
So this is happening more and more to you, and it's like impacting. Like you can't go through with your dream here.
With my dreams, yeah, it was getting worse and worse and worse very quickly, and I had no idea what was happening. So it started when I was 17. I was, I think, 22 when I was diagnosed. So 5 years later, 5 years of it steadily getting worse, and then eventually staying at the same level of bad forever after that. What I didn't know at the time was that something had triggered an autoimmune response. For me, it was probably the fact that I got multiple concussions back to back. I do not advise that from doing
not
sports.
Recommended.
No, 0 stars. And that triggered my brain to attack and destroy all of the orexin that I have. And that's what controls the sleep and wake cycles in human brains. And you can't make more of it. So that's why I was getting worse and worse and worse as I had less orexin available, and eventually bottomed out once there was zero.
Wow. Jeez. And how did this actually finally become recognized for you? Like you said, this
Mm-hmm.
was 5 years.
5 years of going to the doctor, and they take your iron test, your thyroid test, see if you have depression, all the normal things, which they should do that. For most
Mhm.
people, it will be one of those. But for me, once those were exhausted, they then went back and started those tests again instead of looking at zebras, as they call them in medicine, rather than horses. And I
Ah,
was diagnosed in the end because of all of the wild chances. When I moved to Ottawa after university, the first friend I made, her name was Becky Bodner, and she had narcolepsy.
no
And
way.
we were having, I know, it's one of those things looking back, is what was the chances? 1 in 2,000 people have narcolepsy. And she was my first friend. The math, I'm not good enough at math to tell you the number, but I know it was exceptionally unlucky. And she actually made a bet with me. She was so convinced I had narcolepsy, and I was so convinced she was wrong because the chances were so slim we both had it. So she told me to get a sleep study, and that if I didn't have narcolepsy, she would buy all of the snacks for all of our sleepovers for the rest of our lives. Okay, I was 22. That's a long life. And if she was right and I did have narcolepsy, I had to give Rebecca Bodner the credit for being right for the rest of my life. So here we are.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
you go through the sleep study, and what does that entail? And
So you do the overnight sleep study. It was me and a bunch of 6-year-old men who most of them were a little or a lot overweight. And you come in your
jeez.
pajamas and hang out in a waiting room together, right? One by one, you go in, get hooked up to all the stuff and tucked into your little single bed in the hospital room with a camera in the corner watching you. And then they tell you to fall asleep, which apparently for some people, it's hard to sleep with all these crazy wires all over you. I wouldn't know because I fell asleep like that. And next thing I knew, they were waking me up to add a whole bunch more things to me on top of what everyone else started with. So that was the first clue that my friend was probably right, that there was definitely something going on. And then the next morning, everybody else got to go home, go to work, and I had to stay there for the whole day. And they then did a daytime study to go with that nighttime one called the MSLT, so multiple sleep latency test, where you get 5 chances to take a nap in the middle of the day, and they with all your wires, and they see how long it takes you to fall asleep. Well, I thought this was great. I get a whole day where you're telling me to nap. Sold. So I fell asleep all 5 times, and I dreamed in the majority of those times, which is the very clear diagnostic criteria for narcolepsy. Only narcoleptics, people undergoing sleep torture, and newborn parents of twins are the only people who fall asleep that many times that fast.
So newborn mothers of twins are getting us
Exactly. Yeah.
sleep
And sleep
tortured.
torture. Yeah. So give you an idea of how extreme it is to be me every day.
Wow. And how hard was it to actually get this study done? Because, yeah, advanced testing is something that's not necessarily too available in Canada, is it?
It's not, especially I was still young. I had a typical body type, female, and I didn't snore or anything as far as I knew. And so most of the sleep studies are for sleep apnea. And I think that is
Right.
probably what the doctor thought I had when they booked in the study. But I know now people in my life that are looking to get sleep studies for apnea. It's like a 2-year wait sometimes to get that. And I was very fortunate that I was able to get in way faster at the time. But it's hard to get these tests. It takes a long time to get a spot. And then after that, you wait for the results and wait even longer for a specialist for the next steps.
Wow. And then after you get diagnosed with this, is it okay? Well, yeah, you're right. You got narcolepsy. Good luck to you. Or were there any other things that people gave you that were like, okay, well, maybe this will help you, or maybe this won't. Avoid this.
Yeah. It's the very first thing they do is they take your driver's license away. And that was
Yeah.
awful. I understand, of course, looking back, the safety reasons, of course, that's what they do. But at the
Right.
age of 22, I had just bought my first car myself 4 months before on an 8-year payment
Whoa.
plan. Again, do not recommend 0 stars on the 8-year payment plan idea. And this vehicle, I couldn't return it because as soon as you drive a car off a lot, it's worth less than when you bought it. So
Yeah.
I owed more than it was worth. So I had to have it sit there in the first parking spot when you walked out of the apartment building. The spot
Oh
I thought I
no.
prime time. Oh, it was like it was torturing me every time I took my dog outside. Um, it sucked. That hurt so much. And it was hard because it took 5 years to find out what was wrong. I finally knew it was wrong. And in those initial moments, I felt like I was worse off because I found out than before I knew,
Oh,
just because of that
absolutely
impact.
you would. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
So,
oh, yeah, you do have this. Let's punish you.
yeah,
And
that was it.
yeah.
The life you've
Wow.
managed to claw together in your waking hours, well, good luck now because you have to go
Limited
back to
waking
taking the bus.
hours.
Yeah, the
Oh,
bus I fall asleep
jeez.
on. So, yeah.
Now,
Uh,
did you miss your stops when you fell asleep too?
oh, every time. So I would imagine trying to go to work, and every single time you're like, yeah, so I'm late because I missed the stop by 3 stops again. Or you have to go try and aim to be there an hour early because you know that you might. Oh, it was so hard. So, but I got through
Wow.
it to the other side, and
Did you
there
ever
is
like put a
medication.
sign on yourself that said, "Hey, wake me up at this stop"?
Yeah, I learned to ask the bus drivers, and some of them would just roll their eyes and ignore you. But the good ones, they want to help, they understand,
Yeah.
um, and that is nice. You know, there are good people out there. You know, I'd try and find an older person on the bus or someone that I felt like was nice, and be like, "Hey, can you please, when we get to Laurier, please, 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 like, please just wake me up, please." And they're like, "Why are you gonna fall asleep?" I'm like, "Just trust me, please." So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I
That
eventually got through
is
to the other
something.
side of that part.
And you're young when this is happening. Like these are years where you're
Mhm.
trying to build confidence at the same time. And geez,
Yeah.
you're
And money, it's your first job, so you can't keep getting
right.
fired because you fell asleep.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So you're diagnosed, your life shattered because of the
Yeah.
diagnosis on top of what you're going through. What
Mhm.
was next?
So there is medication that they give you. That's the plus side. So the way I use it is there's an alarm that goes off 90 minutes before I actually want to start to try and wake up. So that alarm goes off without even opening my eyes at this point. I take it, close them again, sleep some more, and then I start to wake up. We can call it naturally. There's like 6 alarms back to back in increasing loudness and annoyingness that
Oh,
help a lot.
wow.
Um, yeah, on the other side of the room, so I have to get up to deal with it. And once that happens, I try to go about the day, but I will never be in the 5 a.m. club. I won't even be in the
No,
8 a.m. club. It's 9 is a great
it's
time
not
to try and
happening.
wake up for. No,
Yeah.
I believe I can do just about anything, but probably not that. No.
Wow.
And then throughout the day, there'll be times where the analogy I love is a phone battery. So I've got an iPhone, and when they get to be about 3 years old, I feel like it happens to everyone. All of a sudden, the battery doesn't really work right, and you'll charge it all night, but almost right away, it's at, let's say, like 60%. And then you're doing something for maybe an hour or two. You look at your phone and it's at 40. And you're like, what? How? Right away, that's basically me. But then add in some random drops where it's essentially 5% out of the blue, and you have to rush to plug that thing in or you're going to be in trouble. And that's the way I like to describe the starting energy from having narcolepsy, and then also the sleep attacks where out of the blue, you've got nothing left in the tank, and you are in a panic really to stay safe.
Right. Now, has this led you down the path of, okay, the alternatives worlds where you're looking at autoimmune diseases or you're looking at concussion rehab, all these other things to hopefully function better? Has that
Better. That's
become
such a good
part?
word for it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
There won't
So,
be a cure out there, but hopefully there's something that will move the needle for you or bump that
yeah.
battery life up.
Yes. And so the joke that I always make to the people in my life, but it really is true, is it really sucks that this whole lifting heavy weights and eating low carb thing works, because now I'm going to have to keep doing it for the rest of my life. And that sucks. Like, I would prefer to never go to the gym. I believe that there are a small number of people who genuinely do like working out for fun. I am
Right.
not one of them. I do it because it makes me feel maybe 5% better than when I don't. And 5% is better than zero. And when I can
Absolutely.
see that noticeable difference, it would be foolish for me not to leverage that. And then we add in the low carb aspect where, look, bread is one of my favorite foods, and it really sucks that I don't get to eat it anymore. But that's probably another 5% difference. If I'm very consistent every day on it, it helps. And so all of these, that's fine, they call them alternative, but
Right.
I believe it's the base fundamentals, right? Sleep, food, exercise.
Yes. Yeah, I cannot even, I want to yell that into the mic and just agree emphatically
Right?
with you on that. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
reality. And
Yeah.
that's the world so many people are in right now, is that, yeah, there is something that's damaging them from being productive or living their
Mhm.
lives.
Yeah. And
Now,
I'm not saying that those two things in the, 4 times a week and specifically low carb are for everyone. They probably aren't for everyone. But
right.
to me, it's about documenting how do you feel when you do something one way consistently for, let's say, 2 months. And then if you try something different, do you feel better or worse over those 2 months? Well, now you have your new baseline. You can try something else and compare it if you want. You have to be documenting how you are feeling day to day over a long period of time to get the true answer of what strategies are best for you as an individual.
Right. Absolutely. And that's kind of the energy strategy. Now you've got so many others. You got productivity strategies. We'll get to those again.
Yes.
Um, but you also have a dog strategy, don't you? Like,
I
you've got a big,
do.
giant Great Dane.
Literally giant. Yes,
Yes.
135 pounds. Yeah. So my service dog detects before that battery drops to 5%. She knows before I know. And so she alerts for me to take medication. And because of that, at pretty much the same minute that I feel that extreme heaviness that I use to describe sleepiness, it's just this irresistible urge to sleep where we've all had it. You've stayed up way too late and like your eyes almost start to hurt from it.
Right.
At the same moment that's hitting, my heart starts to beat very fast from the medication because she told me to take it at the right time. Without her, I'd be scrambling to take it in that 30-second window between when I know I'm going to go down and when it happens. And then I would even then still sleep for a bit before the medicine were to work, versus with her, I haven't fallen asleep in public even once since having her and listening to her alerting.
Wow.
Just
Now, this is
huge life
probably
changer.
That is a huge life changer, massive.
Yeah.
And this has probably let you get on with your goal of, what is it, speaking on 100 stages? Like, I was wondering, how is that possible? Like, you change time zones, like just as a business
Yeah.
traveler, you change time zones, and it's difficult to get up on stage sometimes,
Yeah,
um,
it is.
time after time, and you you're after 100 performances.
In 2 years, yeah. And I'm at number
Yeah,
65 right now, and we're a little less than a year and a half in.
congrats! Wow. And
Thank you.
is this because of the dog?
Oh, in huge part. There's no
Yeah.
question that without her, I would not be doing this. The safety aspect alone. But even, if you're giving a keynote and all of a sudden it's lights out, what happens? What do people do? Does someone else step in? Like, there's so much complexity to it. And it would have been a risk that I wasn't going to take. Even things as small as, depending on how the stage is laid out or if there's stairs. People with narcolepsy, before the diagnosis and treatment, a lot of us get hurt really badly. You end up falling
Oh,
down
yeah.
stairs and things without even knowing why or how it happened. So having, yes, she's an animal, but essentially a piece of medical equipment that can say, hey, you need to sit down right now before you fall down, is a
Right.
gift that allows me to do things like this that otherwise wouldn't be safe to do.
Wow. Now, on top of that, I always think lights. Like, is there triggers too that will kind of set you off?
Mm-hmm. So there's things that will help it be a bit. There's things that make the sleep even more enticing. I won't even say that it makes it better. It's more the
Uh,
other side that draws the bad part in. So a super dark room, game over. If someone invites me to the movie theater, I make sure they know I'm napping. Like, I hope you don't want to talk about the movie after, because there's no way, especially during fight scenes. Those are the worst for me. And maybe it's
really?
because I'm not, I know. Like, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, any of those, the moment that there's a battle scene that's more than 30 seconds long, I'm done, because you don't have to pay attention to the details.
Right.
Really, it's who won, who lost, who died. That's all I need to know. And so I fall asleep every single time during action movies. Every time.
Now, excuse me, the clinical analytical side just went off on my tangent, I guess. So I'm curious,
Yeah.
is
Tell
like
me.
your cortisol system also just like wrecked? Like, you mentioned fight scenes, and I would think, yeah, you get that pump of adrenaline and stress chemistry
Yeah.
goes through you and you're more alert. Like,
Yeah.
does
No.
caffeine make you same, better, worse, and other things to deal
So
with
many good
stress?
questions. So I will drink coffee at night, a whole bunch of it, and go to bed. I drink coffee because I like how
Yeah,
coffee tastes. So I only
right.
like good coffee for that
Yes.
reason. Um, it doesn't do anything, though, in terms of a wakefulness or not. Um, Things like pre-workout for the gym, I don't experience that energy boost. I take very strong pre-workout, still don't feel the energy boost, but I do feel that tingling all over, that most people don't like. They say it feels like bugs are biting you, but
Right.
I like that feeling because it makes it so that when I don't really want to go to the gym one day, I'll take it. And then if I'm sitting still trying to work or sitting on the couch, that uncomfortable feeling on my skin, if I'm not moving, I get my butt to the gym. It's a
Right.
negative reinforcement strategy. Oh, but
Wow.
yeah, all of the dopamine things, all of that. I've seen studies in both antidotal and then otherwise of how people with narcolepsy are less likely to experience addiction, whether to gambling, drugs, alcohol. And it's because all of these other chemicals are just off compared to the baseline.
Oh, massively. Yeah. Yeah. So, with all this being considered, I think people get a big picture of, okay, well, what what's your world like there, Michelle?
Mm-hmm.
What about the other side of getting things done? You're this
Yeah.
young adult trying to make her life a go.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're running a multi-million-dollar business and speaking on stage. Well, how the hell did you do it?
It's pretty wild. I was one of the youngest ever winners of 40 under 40. I was in my 20s when it happened. So
Whoa. What?
I know. More secrets for you. Um, I really do believe that it's the pressure created by the time constraints. And I think this is a strategy. Actually, I know this is a strategy that everyone can use. So, an
Right.
example that I love to use is if I tell you, look, you have 4 hours to write, let's say a blog post. I don't care what it is. It can be a story, it can be something for school or work, whatever, to write something. You will use the whole 4 hours. Almost everybody does. And the end product you create, let's say it's a true 10 out of 10. Awesome. But it took you 4 hours. If I say you have 32 minutes and I am going to submit that thing for you at minute 32, no matter what it looks like, you will have it done for me at minute 30 because you're not going to risk it being not done when I hit send for you because that would be embarrassing.
Right.
And it's probably going to be a solid 8.5 out of 10, which is good
Yeah,
enough.
that's good.
That last 10% is perfectionism, and it's actually just a form of procrastination. We're afraid of not being good enough, of the thing we created not being good enough. And so that's where that huge 8 times time inflation typically comes into play. You're taking 8 times longer because you're afraid someone might say that it sucked. But if you were to be forced to do it faster, you can and you will, and it will be good. Almost always just about as good. And yet, most people, if I say, look, you can do it in 30 or you can do it in 4 hours, everybody chooses 4 hours.
Right.
So for me, I don't have the 4 hours. So I had to do it in a smaller time constraint. And that's really benefited me.
Wow. And yeah, I think for the geeks out there, you're talking Parkinson's law or something where all of a sudden,
Yeah.
yeah, the time you're
Any
allotted is the
task will
time you'll
play.
take.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
then if you have,
true.
yeah, and if you have no deadline, you never get it done.
And that's true too. And the longer the deadline, the when it's a long deadline, the vast majority of people will still do it in the last 2% of the time they're given. So if I say you have a month, you're still going to do it the night before, even though you had a month. And the quality will be lesser than if I gave you a week or a day. It's
Right.
human nature, and all of us fall victim to it. For me, I was put in a biological situation where I couldn't fall victim to that. I had to either not try at all, which I'm too stubborn to do, or
Right.
make these small batches of time work. And that's the same reason why when I made that stages goal, I said 100 stages in 2 years. 100 was a large number, almost one a week. And at the time, I'd spoken once on a stage. And I was saying I was going to do 100 of them.
Right.
And I chose 2 years because it was a short enough time span. And what I really wanted was to become exceptional at it. And the way to do that is to put in the reps. And so by
Yes.
choosing a large number and a small time, the only way to do that is pretty much every day to connect with someone new, to try and get something booked, to create good videos. I have to do the things every single day to make that goal happen because of the smaller time constraint.
And are you including all your media, your appearances on news channels and all
So
these great ones as your stage as well, or
yeah.
these are completely separate?
So I include anything that's live recorded and can't be edited. So live news, for example, that counts. Or I filmed for a show called You Can't Ask That, where they film me for like 45 minutes straight, single take. I count that. But the vast majority are genuine stages with a live audience there.
Wow. And yeah, you've got all the reach out. You've got to, once again, get these onto your platforms, get it out to the
Mhm.
world, and then come up with the
Yeah,
next one.
that's it.
Now,
You have to book it, talk about it, share it, do the stories and things on social media when you're going to it. And I don't like social media. It's not fun for me. I don't want to do it, but I
yeah,
have to because if I don't, I will fail at that bigger goal. And that's what matters the most.
wow. Now you've found a few other hacks on this too, and you've turned that into another teaching and entrepreneurial aspect, right? And that's what you're doing with AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I love using AI for these purposes because you can train it to interact with you the way that you need and want. So by nature, the current AIs are very complimentary and they always want to ask you more things and keep the conversation going, which is lovely. But for a lot of people, it's actually creating procrastination and
Yes,
more paralysis, right? You go in there to get
right.
one answer to one easy thing, and then it's asking you, would you like me to make you a 5-piece diagram? Okay. It does that. And you're like, would you like me to make it a PDF with colors? Okay. That you didn't even want that in the first place. So
Yeah.
people lose track of why they were there. So with my AI, I've actually told it, I want you to give me the answers to the things I'm asking about. I want you to be a realist. And I always want you, if you're going to offer me something, it's what is the next immediate step I should do when I close this conversation. And that has made it so my AI is actually the sidekick I need, always pushing me forward rather than one that's just being a cheerleader and keeping my brain occupied with compliments and pretty diagrams.
Brilliant. But if you do need pretty diagrams, you know how to get them quick, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it still does those things if I ask it to.
Right. Well, mine doesn't, but maybe I need to sign up for a class.
There you go. I happen to know an expert.
Yes. And on that point, though, like, yeah, we mentioned Becky, we mentioned the Great Dane, we
Mhm.
mentioned kind of, yeah, just how hard things and life hit you when you were young, and then how you built things up.
Mhm.
That's all in the book, right? Like, don't snooze your dreams. Like
Yes.
that
Yeah.
is a powerful, powerful title. What
Thank you.
else
Yes.
are you so proud about in this book?
So, one thing that I believe very strongly is that only when we see someone who is like us doing something does it allow our brains to truly understand we can do it too. So I love this saying, if she can do it, I can do it. And for me, I didn't know that people with service dogs could be keynote speakers. It was something I didn't even consider for myself because I'd never seen it happen. I'd seen other disabilities,
Right.
but one day I was at a conference and a woman named Haben Girma was on stage. She is deaf and blind, a lawyer, and has a service dog. And it was the first time I'd seen one on stage. And it blew up this ceiling that I didn't even know I'd placed on myself,
Right.
but I had. And seeing her, it was this wild brain experience. And I love it so much when people come up to me now after events and say, you've inspired me to XYZ. And I said, oh, is that something you were thinking about doing before? And almost always they say no. No, I didn't know it was possible. I didn't know it was something I could do. I didn't know people like me could do that. And it's not just people with disabilities or service dogs. It's they're seeing something in me that they see in themselves.
Right.
And I think that's a very interesting part about human nature and brains is how much it matters to us to see someone like us doing things to give us confidence of what's possible for us as well.
And what's the feedback on that coming in? Like, how have people reached out to you and shared their success from listening and seeing you?
So just this week, I was at a conference and someone came up to me, and his name was John. And he said, I wanted to tell you, I saw you and your service dog competing at Speaker Slam. It's a speaking contest. And I was there in the audience. And right after your talk, I decided I want to do that too. Seeing you made me realize I want to talk. I want to share vulnerable things as well. And then last night, I was watching the live stream of his contest. He competed. And I thought that was so special because there was 10 speakers that night. I was the 7th to go, but there was something about me that he saw himself in, and it changed it for him. And he signed up right away, did the first competition coming up, right? Took that time constraint himself. And you never know who's watching you or what words you use, not just can, but will change someone's life.
Yes. Now, others are at that threshold and they need to find you. Where do they do that?
So my website is michelleweger.com. If you go to the /links, you can see all of the social media profiles and pages and things. And on Instagram and everything else, it's Michelle A. Weger, or Dane on a Plane if you want to see my service dogs videos. She is far more popular than me.
Yeah, I've never seen a Great Dane on an airplane, so.
Right. Well, hey. Yeah. Now you have.
My
right?
ceiling just got blown.
Yes, there it is.
Perfect. All right. Well, definitely reach out to Michelle. This is amazing, amazing stuff. And just start off reading a chapter of her book if you're kind of on the edge here. Don't snooze your dreams. Like I think that's a saying I'm putting on my wall. I love it. And
thank you.
Thank you for sharing your inspiration, your stories, your vulnerability. You are an absolutely amazing person and kicking butt. So thanks for being that example. I'm motivated myself.
Yeah.
So reach out to
Michelle. Once you go and do something, tell me. And same with everyone listening. Yes. I love hearing what people are doing.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the great things about you as well, is you're in this for others as well. And it's amazing to see, be witness to, and I'm pushing for you. So reach out to Michelle. And of course, stay tuned to the next episode of The Hardy Brain, the show that takes athletic, introverted entrepreneurs and leaders and transforms them into ironclad brain performers. Take care.